Okay, so Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. So today I would like to highlight on preparation for your oral presentation. I think I have gone through this topic, all right, with you, but then I did not touch on your preparation for the visual aids and so on, right? So I'm going to cover on that, and I'm also going to talk about the preparation part and also what will happen, all right? How are you going to manage your preparation and also your practices? And how are you going to deal with your anxiety? So first, let's begin with the oral presentation itself and also have a look at what are the things that you must prepare. Okay, so let me briefly repeat what we have gone through before, right? As you all know, there are three types of oral presentations that you can do, right? One is informative speech, which is the most common. Everyone, mostly student would like to do on this because uh, you want to share the knowledge, right? Throughout the presentation, all right? You just want to deliver what you have learned, all right, during the presentation, okay? Some of you might also go and do demonstrative speech. Now, this is the most fun types of speech, right? It is interactive, it is animated, you get to be lively throughout the presentation, which is very good, right? However, there are pros and cons, right? You might need some sort of investment. You know, you need to fork up your money to prepare all the ingredients, the tools, and so on for your demonstrative speech. Okay. And last but not least is persuasive speech. Now, this is the type of speech that you do to share your belief, right? You want to persuade the audience. So, if you have something that is good and you want people to believe it, maybe you have a theory, maybe you have a product, maybe you have something, your practices or whatsoever, and you want them to follow whatever you are saying or whatever you are preaching and so on, right? So you might want to do persuasive speech. Now, this is the most challenging because it's not easy to, to share our belief to the audience. You know, sometimes they might accept it, sometimes you might fail, right? So you need to have a very good you need to be a very good speaker, right, in order for you to persuade people. Okay, now I have also touched on this, some guidelines for oral presentation, all right? When you choose the topic, make sure you choose something that is related to the audience, choose something that is current, right? Anything that has to do with what's going on nowadays, not something that is already outdated. That's very important. Okay. Next one, do not overestimate what the audience know. Okay. When you choose a topic, you can choose a topic that is very general, or you can choose a topic that is very specific. Okay, because sometimes people also do not know uh, some general topics. For example, you want to talk about Netflix, right? Or you want to talk about Unify, for example. It might seem common, but then I believe not many of us are familiar with it. Not many of us are the customer, the consumer, and so on. So that could be a very interesting topic for you to do for your oral presentation, right? So do not overestimate what the audience knows. Some of us might not know about it, so it will be a good topic selection for your presentation. Next one, personalize your ideas. Now remember, in the presentation, it does not need to be 100% on facts. Throughout the presentation, you must share your experiences, relate the examples with what's going on nowadays. You know, it does not need to be very technical, very practical and so on. Okay. Do not be too, and the next point is do not be too technical. Now that's very important. If you are doing on something that is serious, on a serious topic, okay, you have to make sure that you are able to explain them in a simple mechanism, right? So give more metaphor, give more examples to make sure that people understood them, and explain the meaning of the term used in the presentation. Now, last but not least, avoid distraction. In your presentation, you can plan for everything, but it is best not to be too ambitious and have everything in the presentation, because sometimes it can turn out to be a distraction. All right. For example, images. uh, it will be better for you to use only one image to explain on certain points, instead of having 10 images, for example, right? If you have 10 images um, throughout to explain one point, that might not be that might be too much. Okay, so choose one image, a good one, a very clear image, photos, right? And just talk about that, explain what's going on in the photos and so on, instead of having 10 photos but then you do not say anything about it. So avoid distraction. Okay. So next one, this would be the basic outline for your oral presentation. In the presentation, you must know that you should have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Okay. Now, in introduction, I already highlighted to all of you, introduction is the key to a good presentation. You must make sure that you grab the attention of the audience, right? In the beginning of your speech. Okay, you want them to be attracted to listen to your presentation, and you don't want to do a simple introduction because that will be too boring. Okay, so in order to grab the attention, normally you can use questions, you can use quotations, because your presentation is recorded, right? So you might not want to start with something that is a question and ask people to answer, because no one will be answering, right? But you can pose the question and then give some pause, um, let people think about it and then share their opinions. Okay, after you have done that, then only you let them know what are you going to present, and after that, be specific and mention to them what are you going to cover in the presentation. Okay, what are you going to touch in the presentation. Okay, so now, after you have done with your introduction, a good one, once you have attracted the audience, you have informed them what are you going to cover. Now you will come to the body. This is where you share all the points, all the recommendations, all the values, all the causes or effects, and so on, right? So it should have at least 3 ideas with supporting details. And then you should also include values behind it. Remember, I mentioned values is related to our behavior, right? It's about the person. What can the person do? Talking about responsibility, commitment, patience, honest, all those things. Okay. And last but not least is the conclusion. Okay, so this will be the end of the presentation. Now, I always notice that when it comes to presentation, a lot of people just stop. They do not have a good conclusion, which is wrong. Okay, when you do a presentation, a conclusion is a must. So it completed the cycle of the speech. So when it comes to conclusion, it is very important for you to attract the audience attention again, by, giving some recommendation, let them think about it, restate again what you have covered throughout the presentation in a very brief gesture. Okay, you do not have to give examples and so on. Just the point, just what have you covered. Okay, and a little bit of your personal thought, and last but not least, you have to thank the audience for listening and open the slot for Q&A session. Question and answer session, it will not happen for your recorded presentation. So never mind, you can just mention in the recorded, you can just mention. So if anyone has any question, they can post to your YouTube channel, and then you will answer that. Okay, so that is how you do your question and answer, okay, session. Right, so next, this is a sample outline for informative speech. I think I have shared this with you, tornadoes. If you were to do a presentation on the topic of tornadoes, so this is how you're going to plan for your introduction. You're going to start with a question, to grab the attention, and then you are going to tell the relevance. Why do you choose a topic? Why do you ask them that question? Okay, have you ever heard about a tornado or known someone who has? Now, tornadoes can cause damage and can occur anywhere at any time, so you may be affected by one or know someone who will. I'm fascinated by tornadoes and have done research in the last couple weeks preparing for this speech. Today, I will discuss some fascinating facts about tornadoes. Specifically, I will present the causes, occurrences, and values associated with tornadoes. So, this is a very good introduction. You give question, you pause for a while, you let your audience think about it first, right? And then you tell them, why do you ask the question? You ask the question because tornadoes can cause damage and occur to anyone at any time. And then you tell them why you want to talk about tornadoes, because you have read about it. And then you will tell them what are you going to cover in the presentation. So this is introduction. And then the body, okay, you will start with, first of all, let me start with causes of tornadoes. There are many causes of tornadoes. One of it is it happened because when the hot air meets the cold air, and it created, you will explain about it. You will give examples and so on. You can show diagrams, you can show images and so on. So once you are done with that, then okay, moving on to my next point. In my next point, I will tell you about occurrences of tornadoes. So just now I mentioned about causes. So now I want to show you how it really happened. So you will show everything. And after moving on to my last point, I would like to highlight few values related to tornadoes. So when we face tornadoes, the first values that we must have is self-protection. For example, okay, so you will tell them under the body. Okay, so once you are done, you will go into conclusion. Okay, so in conclusion, I have discussed the causes, occurrences, and values. So you state again, right? And then you share your hopes, and you let them know. Okay, let them think, and let them, make use of some of the inputs you have given to them, right? And then thank them. Okay, thank you everyone for listening. I hope that you all can stay safe and know how to act if tornadoes ever occur at your home or at your place. Okay, so that will be the end of your presentation. Okay, so presentation. I know presentation is for you to deliver the speech, right? But everybody could use a little bit of help when it comes to your speech. All right, so help can comes in the form of visual. Help can come in the form of visual aids. So what is the meaning of visual? Visual is something that you can see. Aids mean help. Okay, so whatever that you can project, you can show them, you can let the audience see, that will help them to understand better on your presentation. That will be great. Okay, that will improve and make your presentation efficient, okay, and impactful. That's very important because you want them to get what you are delivering. You want them to get the message, and in order to get the message, you want to show them certain things that is relevant to be showed throughout the presentation. So what are you going to show? You can show them object, you can show them some models, you can show them photos, you can show them drawings, graph and charts, videos, or multimedia presentation. So because you are going to record your presentation, right, the best option would be for you to prepare slides. That would be the best things for you to do. So prepare slide presentation, put all your photos. Like I said, be selective. You do not want to put 100 photos, 50 photos in the slideshow. That would be ridiculous because your presentation is just 4 minutes for each person. Pick and choose. Pick 1 or 2 photos to describe a point, all right, and then show some object to describe a point, and you know put your points in visual aids and so on when you are preparing your multimedia presentation, which is your slideshow. There will be marks, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure whether there will be marks provided. If I'm not mistaken, yes, marks will be provided. So it is compulsory for you to prepare visual aids, which is at least PowerPoint slide, or any objects and so on. Okay. Now, how are you going to prepare your slide? Here are the tips. Okay, when you are preparing for it, you have to prepare it on advance. You have to start from now on. That is why I did ask you guys to submit your slide in CDOS. Okay, because if you delay, you will not know the flow of your presentation. So you have to get it done quick from now on, so you can work on that and practice on that. Okay, keep it simple. Like I said, a 4 minutes presentation, you should at least have only 10 to 15 slides, not more than that, because that will be too many, or that will be a distraction. If you prepare 30 slides, 40 slides for a 4 minute presentation, it will be ridiculous. Okay, so make it simple. So just few slides. Make sure it is large enough. So make sure the font are large enough. Use fonts that are easy to read. So do not go crazy with the font types, and use color effectively. Now this is very important when you prepare your slideshow. As you can see on my slide, if you use a brighter background, your font must be in a dark color. If you use a darker background, your font must come in a lighter color. So there has to be contrast. Okay, it cannot be together. I mean, darker background, darker color of font, people will not see your slide effectively. Okay, now guidelines for presenting. So when you present your slide, display them where it can be seen. When you record, you have to display the slide, so make sure I can see them. All right. Avoid passing it among the audience. If you do it face to face. When it comes to visual aids, you don't want to pass, because passing takes time and it is a distraction. When you pass things, people are not going to listen to you anymore. They are just, you know, focusing on the object being passed. They are waiting for their turn, so they won't be listening to you. So that's not a good practice. Okay, don't read your slides. Now that's very important. Like I said, bullet points only. When you have bullet points, you will need to explain them. That is what we call presentation. If you were just reading your slide, we call that reading. We do not call it present. Okay, you do not want to read, you want to present. Okay, explain it clearly. So make sure for all the points, for all the bullets stated in the slide, you have to explain them. Do not prepare a slide but then not saying anything about it. Do not put a photo but not talking about it. That will be a no, a big no. Okay, practice with your visual aids now. This is very important. You have to get comfortable with what you have in your slides for you to be able to present them. If you do not know, then you will look ridiculous. And when you look ridiculous, this is when what you say does not match the slide. When this happens, people will not trust you. Okay, and your presentation, people will question your expertise, whether do you really know what you are preaching, what you are delivering, or you are just making that up. And the worst case scenario is you projected something else on the slide, but you say something else in the slide. That is even worse. So you do not want that to happen. You have to make sure that everything is matched accordingly, right? What you are saying match with what you have on the slide. Okay, right. So stage fright, nervousness. I will say that it's crazy lah if you don't feel anything when it comes to presentation. Okay, so fear and anxiety is very common. It's just a matter of how do you calm yourself and how do you tone down your anxiety, reduce your anxiety. Okay, so that's very important. It's unavoidable, but you may experience it lesser if you are ready for the presentation. So yes, you can reduce your anxiety provided that you are ready for the presentation. How to overcome nervousness? Acquire speaking experiences. So you practice a lot. The more that you share or the more that you practice, you will get better. Okay, prepare your speech in advance. So you might want to prepare what are the things that you want to say, you want to mention, and use the power of visualization. Picture yourself giving a successful presentation. You visualize it. When you recorded your presentation, you visualize me and your friend watching your video and feeling happy, feeling satisfied. So that is the kind of aim that you should have. Okay, when we listen to your presentation, we should smile and we should feel happy and attracted. That's the kind of presentation that you want to give to your friends and to me. Okay, prepare a lot. You don't want to get nervous, right? So know the reason why you get nervous. Number one is because you do not know the word to explain. So prepare all the words, read a lot about the topics, then you will know what to say during the presentation. Number two, pronunciation. When it comes to pronunciation, a lot of people get anxiety. They fear whenever they want to say something. So learn the correct pronunciation before you do your presentation. Go through all the words that you are going to use in the presentation and learn the right pronunciation of the word. By learning about the pronunciation, you can reduce your anxiety and you get less nervous. So that is why I said preparation is key to a good presentation. Even the best speaker in the world, they do a lot of preparation. They ask for help from many people to produce a good speech. So it does not happen in a split second. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of work in order to get it good. Okay, so of course, us, normal people, we need to work harder, okay, compared to those who are talented speaker. Okay, now the do's and the don'ts. Number one, you want to be organized. It will help you to stay focused and relaxed throughout the presentation. Be organized in the sense that prepare the slides, uh, go to the quiet place to record, pay attention to the environment. It will help you to stay focused. Get ready with your cue cards. Have your cue cards together with you, so that you do not forget certain points that you want to highlight in the presentation. You must prepare cue cards, not script. You cannot bring script to the presentation and read from them. It has to be cue cards. Okay. So breathe. Don't forget to take a deep breath. Do that first. Take a deep breath, hold, and then release. Okay. You have to have all the oxygen needed in order for you to uh, you know to deliver your speech brilliantly. Okay. You do not you do not want to collapse throughout the presentation. Now that's not what you are hoping for. So you want to do it great. Okay. You want to attract people. Okay. Next one, don't try to cover too many things. You only get 5 minutes each to present. Yeah, 4 to 5 minutes each to present. Don't cover everything about that topic. You have to be selective. Whether you want to talk about causes, you want to talk about effect, you want to talk about recommendation. But the most important thing is values has to be included, right? You want to talk about the benefits, you want to talk about the disadvantages, the tips, the do's and the don'ts, and so on. So you have to be selective. One topic, you can have too many things for you to say. So be more specific and cover only few things, okay, that is needed. Do speak clearly, slowly, and at an appropriate level. Okay, you want everyone to get what you are delivering. So you do not want to do it too fast, or you do not want to mumble. We are going to say, okay, no, that is mumbling. Okay, mumbling means you do not open your mouth. So open your mouth. A, E, O. Do that many times. Starting from now, so that you can speak clearly. Okay. If you use new unfamiliar word, make sure you explain it and write it on the board. You do not have the board, right? So you can write it on the slide, or you must explain them. Okay. Do make eye contact with all the members. Recording, right? Make eye contact to the webcam. Okay. Do move around slowly. I think for the recording, you are not allowed to move around. You must stay in the frame of the webcam, right? But if you were to do it face to face, you have to make it natural. So you can move around slowly, okay? Not a very sudden gesture, slowly, okay? Do use hand gesture. Like I said, you can move your hand, you can smile a lot. That's very important in your presentation. You have to smile, you have to show your face, right? I would like to have you in the presentation. You cannot just do a voice recording. That's wrong, okay? I want to have you in the presentation. So you have to use hand gesture. You can move your hand. You have to smile a lot. Do allow the audience to ask questions at the end of the presentation. Don't read your presentation. Do practice your presentation in front of the mirror. You want to see yourself. You want to see how you look. You want to make sure that people are not threatened by your facial expression. So have a look at yourself. Make sure you look presentable in the presentation. Do remember to thank your audience and introduce the next speaker. If you do it in pair, you have to introduce the next speaker that's going to take over the presentation. Okay. So, your oral presentation is 30%. So, for example, this would be example of instruction. So values play an important role in everyone's life. Values shape individual as well as members of a community. Values influence people's behavior and serve as criteria for evaluating the actions of others. So prepare an oral presentation. The details of the task are as below. The presentation will be conducted individually or in pair. Choose a topic that will be an interest. So you must choose any topic, and then your presentation should highlight or promote positive values, personal values, family values, social cultural values, and so on. Okay. And once you have decided on the topic, prepare an outline for your presentation. So far you had work for the outline of your presentation. Some of you had even prepared the slides and so on. Okay. Use a sample outline as suggested by lecturer. So you had prepared your outline based on what I shared here. Okay, it's about time for you to start practice your presentation. Okay, right. So, think this is okay. Let me. Okay, so like I said, anxiety. A little bit about this, right? In oral presentation, how to do it. If you are someone who really fear oral presentation, you have to do all this. Okay, number one, you greet the anxiety. It's okay. Tell yourself it's okay to get nervous. Acknowledge the feeling when you are nervous. See the sign, sweaty palms, heartbeat fast. All this is a signal that you are someone who are nervous, right? You are easily nervous. Okay, so know the feeling. Tell yourself it's okay to be nervous, right? Relax, take a deep breath. Reframe the situation as conversation. Don't. Number two, another tips that you can do is to tell yourself this is not presentation, this is conversation. Make it conversational dialogues rather than specific. Treat it as conversation. Just like how I'm presenting to you right now. I couldn't see anyone, right? I'm recording my voice. So in order to make it less awkward, I treat it as conversation, as if I'm talking to a person, as if I'm talking to all of you. So this is a very good tips for you to avoid anxiety, reduce anxiety. Number three, be in the present, in the moment. Focus on now, not the consequences or the future. This is very important as well. Don't think too much about failing the presentation. Don't think too much about what I'm going to say. Don't think too much about the marks I'm going to give. Don't think too much about what your friend are going to say about your presentation. No, that is something that you cannot control. So be in the present. What is the most important thing is for you to deliver a good presentation. That is your aim, your objective. What does it mean by a good presentation? It means that you manage to share information to your friend. You do it so well. You manage to make them understand the points that you want to say to them, and you leave an impact for them to take. All right. So at the end of the presentation, your audience learns something. Your audience gets something out of it. That will give you self-satisfaction. And to do that, you have to prepare a lot. So don't think too much about what will happen next, the consequences, the effects, what your marks are going to be and so on. Don't think about that yet. Think about present. Think about how are you going to deliver the presentation. Okay. Now, I had given you the 3 steps, right? Number 1, greet the anxiety. Number 2, reframe the situation as conversation and be in the present moment. Now, this is a detail. Okay, greet your anxiety. So how do you do that? You say, hey, this is me being nervous. Whenever you feel the sweaty palms, whenever you feel, stuck, or you feel heavy on your chest, take a deep breath and say, this is me feeling anxious. It's okay. This is me feeling nervous. Tell yourself that. It's okay. Right. Reframe the situation as conversation, Presentation is not a performance. There's no right or right way of doing presentation. So see it as a conversation rather than performance, Start with question because it is dialogic. That's why I keep on saying to you, use question a lot. How many, how often, even though it's recorded presentation, you can still ask question, ask question and then pause for a while, let your audience think about it, and then you continue the presentation. Use conversational language. Have a look at this point. Let's move on to the next one. Let me explain what it means when I say, okay, this is important to you. So use all these words, all this conversational language. Pronounce we, us, me, you. First, what we need to do is use we, us, me, you in the presentation to make it less serious, less formal. If you keep on using the person in charge is, using all those, make it very formal. You can replace it with the way I see this, okay, or the way that you should, use you, I, me, us. Have a look at this. Let's move on. Let me explain. Use a lot of conversational language throughout the presentation to make it less formal. Okay. Be present oriented. Now, this is a third tip. Don't worry about the future consequences or what will happen after presentation. Focus on the moment. Find something to do before the presentation. On the recording day, you focus. You focus, and then you let yourself stay alert. You do a little bit of workout. You do a push-up ke, you listen to a song ke. Athlete do this all the time, Why they do this all the time? Because they want to be in the present. They don't want to think about what happened in the past. They don't want to think about what will happen next and so on. So they just want to stay in the present. Read a tongue twister. This is very good. It helps to make you deliver word correctly. Practice tongue twister. So I have many example of tongue twister here. You can practice them. I'm not very good at it. So some people might be better than me, right? So Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. A pack of pickled peppers, Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers, where's the pack of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? So yeah, it improve your pronunciation. Betty Botter bought some butter, but she said the butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. But a bit of butter will make my batter better. So was better Betty Botter bought a bit of better butter. Okay, yeah. Your pronunciation of b. Okay, how much wood would a woodchuck chop if a woodchuck could chop wood? He would chop, he would, as much as he could, and chop as much wood as a woodchuck would if a woodchuck could chop wood. Okay. This is my weaknesses. She sells seashells by the seashore. I'm always bad at the sh, the sh. You guys can do this all the time. Repeat them, 3 times, and see whether you can do that. Okay, so this is a very good tips. Do practice them, and then hopefully it will help you to be better speaker, right? Help your pronunciations and so on. All the best. Good luck for your presentation. Remember, only 2 things can make you a best speaker, the best speaker ever. Number 1 is preparation. Prepare, and always prepare. Number 2 is practice, and make use of all the tips I've given you. You can deliver a successful presentation. Thank you very much. I hope you all do well in your presentation later. That's all from me. Bye.